Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix, and I'm trying to do more than one podcast a week, or at least I'm trying to get ahead of my podcast. So this one's probably going to be a short one, probably more like a regular video you would see. So, I've been kind of wondering what really constitutes a podcast. What's the definition of a podcast? Because I really don't have to classify these as podcasts, really. But either way, I can just make thought videos. I can make every video a podcast. But that aside, today is Friday, and I did not make it to the gym. After work, I didn't feel well. I was kind of nauseous, felt weak, and I actually felt like my blood pressure dropped. Well, I forgot to take my medicine this morning. I was like, what is wrong? And I look at my pill bottle. I'm like, I didn't take my pills this morning because I had yesterday I had computer issues. My computer, when I turned it on 10 minutes before work, I turned my computer on and it decides to do an update. It's not a big update. It finishes and it even comes up to the login screen so I can log into the computer. I log in, wait, nothing. So I reboot the computer. I end up just doing like control delete. That still works. So I restart the computer and comes back up. Black screen. I log in again. Black screen with the cursor. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I just hold the button in, the power button in, and see if I can get it to kick over that way. Sometimes that works. And power up, nothing. So I call my boss, let me know what's going on. And he stays on the phone with me because he helps me. I'm like, I'm like, is it F8, F5 to get in the safe mode? And we're hitting the buttons, trying to get to the BIOS and all this stuff. And we get into where we can do like recovery stuff, but I can't do any recovery stuff because I have to be connected to the network. In order to be connected to the network, I have to connect to VPN. So I just keep trying, and finally there's an option to restart the computer one more time, and it comes up. It's running a little slow. It might be time to switch mine out. I've had it since pretty much I've been there. I've been there 7 years. Has it been 7 years? Because 8 years. Ugh. It's time to move on. Nah. Sometimes it used to be the longest I would stay at a job would be three years. I would move on. Then sometimes it got up to 5 years, and now 10 years. And I think the last one I may have been there. My last job before this one, I was there maybe 10 years. So maybe at the 10-year mark, I'll see what's going on. But yeah, sometimes, you work a job, and this job actually kind of fits me better just because I guess in a way I have a lot more leeway, I guess you could say, and I'm actually getting paid. I work from home, so it's convenient for me, me and my kids. My kids need me. I can call my boss real quick, be like, hey, I need to take an early lunch. I'm just going to run. My kid's sick. I just got to run and get them, bring them back, and I'll just take my lunch early or take it later. Something like that. And so that's no problem. Lucky enough, the job I work really doesn't require me to... Actually, most of the jobs I work don't require me to, like, have to find someone to cover me. And the truth is, I don't really recall working too many jobs like that other than fast food. And I haven't worked fast food in a long time. But even fast food, I never understood, not having enough people to cover stuff. Because it turns out, the people who make the schedule, a lot of times in those jobs, aren't really the ones making the schedule. Like the people above them tell them, well, no, don't schedule too many people, But the reality is you should schedule enough to cover if something happens. And, if you have extra people, have them doing the extra work. And then once the extra work's done, maybe let them go home or something early, see if he wants to go home early. But otherwise, it's like, if you can't afford to have people on staff, you need to just let them go. You need to sell the business. But anyway, got a little sidetracked there. But yeah, I was talking about being sick, and I took my medicine finally. I ended up falling asleep too. I was so out of it, and I didn't make it to the gym. I'm still thinking about I go downstairs and do a little workout. I got my weights and stuff, so I may still get a workout in. I'm thinking I'm either going to do that, or I want to go to the gym tomorrow. Either way, I'm going to get a workout in. So I just need to decide today. Probably after this, I'll decide what I'm going to do. I can decide right now. I think I'm just going to go to the gym tomorrow. I used to do that. I used to work out the 3 days a week, and sometimes I would go Saturday. I loved going on Saturday. I don't know why I stopped. I think we'll start again because on Saturday it's a ghost town and it was beautiful. I took my time. I was there for like 2-3 hours, and I was doing the same workout, but I was taking my time. I didn't feel like I had to rush. Hurt me get to the next machine for someone else grabs it. So, yeah, I might start going on Saturdays from now on. Skip Friday and go Saturday, or still go Friday, just go 4 days a week. But Saturdays, I think the thing with Saturdays also I like sleeping in, but I think I'm gonna start going Saturdays again. So, oh, and for those of you who haven't noticed, cut my hair. I think I cut it in the last podcast. Oh yeah, because did I have it cut in the last? I don't remember. I have to go back and look. I just did the other one. I don't even remember. Did I do that one before or after I cut my hair? But yeah, my wife likes the look, so I'm gonna keep it. I probably will eventually shave the beard and stuff, but for right now, I'm gonna keep it. As for weight loss journey, my food has been messed up. I've been hungry a lot, so I've been overeating. So now I gotta get back in control. Starting today, just if I'm going to eat, I got to be more mindful of it. And I don't know what happened this week, but it's just like hunger hit me and I had to eat. I can't explain it. It was just like, eat. You must eat. I think I can't explain it. I was working out, so I think I'm not eating enough in the sense that I go and I push myself at the gym, and then I'm hungry when I get home, and I overeat, overcompensate. So, and then today I was just hungry, and I couldn't it felt like I couldn't stop eating. So, but the upside is, it seems like as soon as I get hit with that hunger pain, it comes right out of me. So there's that. So maybe if I can keep it moving through my body, I'll be all right. But yeah, man, it was just, whew. But what was that? Oh, there's some topics I got from the radio that I wanted to talk about, and one that really got my interest was Doordash. The reason Doordash caught my interest is because I hate Doordash. I mean, we use it, but I still hate it because now they think we're scammers because we actually complain. Well, actually report when something's missing, which is, to me, that's what you're supposed to do. And unfortunately, there seems to always be something missing. And even if they just give us a credit or something, but now it's like I tell my wife we're not using DoorDash. And on the one hand, we'll save some money. We'll still use it from time to time, but otherwise, for the most part, we limit it to maybe once or twice a month, and that's it. Otherwise, we got to drive and go get it. So if we don't go and get it, we just don't get it. And so it's like, hey, you want this or that? It's like, well, we got to go and get it. We can't use DoorDash. And on the upside, I think that actually helped with my diet. So there's that. But the story with DoorDash, other than being cheapskates, is that this guy kept getting DoorDash drivers to his house asking for the Taco Bell delivery. They'd be like, hey, we're here to pick up the Taco Bell delivery. You're in a rural neighborhood. You're in a neighborhood. There's no signs of Taco Bell anywhere. And you go up to a random house and be like, I'm here for the Taco Bell order. If you came to my house, my first thought was, are you a dumbass? Like, get away from me before I call the cops. Or you better hope I don't have a pew-pew. But the point is, it's like, how stupid do you got to be to pull up to a house and think you're going to pick up a Taco Bell? Pick up any order, really. You're going to pick up a food order at a random house? How stupid do you got to be? And apparently it's happened so much that, it's made news. It's like, what is wrong with you people? Use some common sense. Be like, hey, this is a house. If the drivers would report that, it would get fixed. But they won't report it. And it's like, just report it, and it'll get fixed. And the homeowner reached out to the DoorDash. He reached out to Taco Bell. Neither one was like, oh, we can't fix it. They could fix it. They don't want to fix it for whatever reason. It's too much effort, too much work, or it'll cost us money to fix it. It's like, well, it may cost you a lawsuit because eventually this guy may have a case to sue both of you because you refuse to fix it. But the guy decided to take matters into his own hands and Next time someone showed up, he had a Taco Bell bag waiting for him, and they drove off. And the cops showed back up at his house talking about what was in the bag. And he told them cat poop. So yeah, if these people are going to be stupid enough to show up to his house and ask for a Taco Bell order, he's going to hand them a bag of cat poop. So you get what you deserve. It's like, don't just use some common sense, for crying out loud. It's like, why would Taco Bell be disguised as a house in the middle of a neighborhood? You're an idiot for thinking that. And when I first heard that, I was like, this can't be real. Luckily, I heard the whole story when I dropped my son off. But it's just like, this is so stupid. How stupid do you got to be? Because I heard this story and I'm just like, what? You really still went up to the door and asked for a Taco Bell order? And the fact that it happens so much that the guy started handing out cat poop is hilarious to me. But also, I kind of wonder how many times did it really happen. Because for some people, if it happens once, that's too many times. If it happens twice, that's too many times. It's like, now, if it happened to the point where it was like 3 or 4 times, then 3 would be my limit. The third time, I would say something to Doordash and Taco Bell. Because one is, other than answering the door, no one's getting hurt. So it wouldn't be that big a deal. But eventually, if it still was going on, I'd be like, tell the DoorDasher, it's like, I would point blank ask him, I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? You need some medication? Because you're an idiot. Because you honestly thought Taco Bell was here. You honestly thought I would hand out some Taco Bell to you to go deliver. You know, I would probably start talking to him condescending. This is like, you need help? You need a good psychiatrist? You know, there's stuff online you can do, you know, since you're clearly not capable of thinking for yourself. But, yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. It's like, some people are really that stupid. And, well, I mean, used to be a time where you go, oh, it's America. Well, oh, it's America, especially now. It's like the number of stupidity that's out there. The number of stupidity. The number of stupid people that are out there. Another radio story that caught my attention was Elmo. I never really thought about Elmo being a real name that people used. And it was a real name before the puppet. That Elmo was actually a popular name, apparently. And recently, a person wanted to name their kid Elmo because it's a family name. And the wife was like, no. Because she explained that he's going to get picked on. Our kid will get picked on. And that's a valid reason. And you know, she's trying to protect her kid. She doesn't want to name him a name that he's going to get picked on. And so finally, the person put it online. And I guess the husband thought people would see it his way. But no one's going with him. Everyone's with the wife. Like, that's... Like me, I didn't think about it being a real name. I thought Elmo was a made-up name. I've never in my life met anyone named Elmo until Sesame Street. So that was news to me. And then there was, I don't know how real it is, but like there was a historical figure named Jaquasa, or something like that. It was a black-sounding name, like the stereotypical black-sounding name, but it was a white woman. I was like, that's a real name? That was a real name back in the day? It's like, wow. So, hey, you never know. But yeah, people who name their kids strange things, sometimes I'm just like, what is wrong with you? And there was a trend where celebrities were naming their kids stuff. And some people said that, believe that a lot of times those names are fake and they're just not releasing the real name. And I sometimes believe that, but not all the time. Because some of those celebrities will really name their kids some stupid names, and you discover that's what they really named their kid. It's like, what is wrong with you? And in some cases, the kids end up legally changing their name, and you find out they never talk to that parent again. Like Elon Musk's kids, most of them, from what I understand, don't talk to him. And what's funny is he doesn't talk to his dad and mom, which I think is, he grew up to be just like his dad. So, yeah. If you're going to name your kids, don't name them something that they're clearly going to get beat up over. Like, there was someone named Nimrod, and it was a family name, and they really named their kid Nimrod. And it's like, look, I looked up what Nimrod meant. It was like actually an ancient warrior or something that fell in battle. There was really someone named Nimrod, but I don't remember how it came associated with being an idiot. and it was just like, you Nimrod. But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things that just became associated with being an idiot. I don't really hear it too much anymore, but I remember when I saw the name, I was working at the bank, and I was like, Nimrod? I was like, okay. But it was just, I wonder what that kid's, he was an adult then, but I wonder what his life was like as a kid with that name. Did he ever go by it, or did he go by a nickname? And it's just like, this is ridiculous. Don't name your kids stuff. And the worst part is, you would think, I don't understand adults who like completely black out what it was like to be a kid. No, I mean, they seriously black it out. Because they say, when I was a kid, I did all this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, then a lot of people out here say that. It's like, no, you didn't. Because now I'm an adult, and I remember the stuff I did. And even so, I will still go ask my mom. It's like, did I do any of that stuff? She's like, no. I was like, good. And like, my kids will do stuff, and I'm like, Mom, was I ever like that? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. And yeah, I think these parents actually choose to forget. A lot of y'all will actually choose to forget what it was like to be a kid. And I think parents like that are usually the worst parents, because they expect too much out of their kid. It's like, and those are usually the parents who try to not be like their parents and then end up failing. Okay, the final radio story was finding someone attractive that looks like your partner. And that was an interesting one to me, because on one hand, you have a type. So I'm not too shocked by that. But on the other hand, people were talking about, as long as you don't act on it, and I'm thinking, you just found them attractive. I mean, is it that you no longer find your partner attractive? I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole story on that one. Because the only time I listen to radio is when I'm dropping my kids off, and that one I had just dropped my son off, came home, and I had to get ready for work. Yeah, I was just like, well, that's interesting. And on the one hand, what I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, is it that your partner no longer looks like that? Because in some cases, you can be attracted to someone who looks like your partner used to look, like in the sense that, either they gotten older, they gotten fatter, or something's happened. They don't look like they used to. And so why have you fallen for this person? What about this reminds you of your partner? And I just thought that was interesting. It's like, and apparently from what I caught of it, people thought it was weird. Thinking, why is it weird? Because if you're attracted to someone who looks like your partner, to me, it also kind of meant that you were still attracted to your partner, that you're still attracted to your partner, because you have a type, and your partner is your type, and this person you're attracted to is your type. So, I mean, it's one thing if you're just attracted to them, as long as you don't act on it. I don't see the harm in it. And then there are people who think if you're attracted to someone else, that means you don't love your partner. Like, that's not how that works. You can be attracted to people and not do anything about it. It doesn't mean you don't love your partner. That's the same way as when someone just glances at someone and say, well, why? Because they're an attractive person. And you immediately think, oh, you're cheating on me. It's like, one, you're an insecure person, and you need to go get help for that. And that's why I don't do jealousy. I'm not a big fan of jealousy when it comes to relationships. I think I talked about this in the other podcast. Like, jealousy, like being jealous of someone's car, that's one thing. Oh man, that's a nice car. I wish I could afford it. That's one thing. But to be jealous of your partner to the point that you are always suspicious, or you're like, well, I trust him, but I don't trust her, or I trust her, but I don't trust him. No, you don't trust your partner. And I've heard people try to argue that. Well, no, I was like, do you honestly think they're going to drug him? Your partner's going to get drugged by the friends? If you honestly believe that, you should say something. Now, if you think they're his friends or her friends or that type of people, speak up. Because if something happened and the cops are like, well, why didn't you ever say anything? They're going to start looking at you as a suspect. I mean, they already look at the significant other as a suspect first, but they're definitely going to be looking harder at you. So every time I would hear that, it's like, this is a stupid argument. That means you don't trust your partner. I don't care how you spin it. You don't trust your partner. Unless you can prove that those friends are really bad friends to where they're going to get your significant other in trouble, you don't trust your partner. And also, oh, excuse me. And also, on that same note, if you honestly think that the friends are going to do something, like I said, speak up. But also, what I was trying to get at is, you know, to me, it's trust. If you believe this, your partner, when they're hanging out with these friends, are going to get into trouble, one, that's a sign that your partner can't pick good friends. And that's something you need to consider. Like, if you really think that these friends are going to get them into trouble and they're not willing to give up these friends, maybe it's time to give up the relationship. Because if they really are bad friends, and it's clear that they're bad friends, and you're not saying anything, you don't feel comfortable saying anything, it means you're not comfortable in that relationship too. So it's probably time to get out of that relationship. And because every time I hear that, it's just like, one, you guys have trust issues. And you need to first admit that. And once you can admit that, then you can move forward. Then you can decide whether you're gonna continue the relationship or end it. For me, if I constantly was worried about you and your friends hanging out, them being that bad influence on you, I'm probably gonna end the relationship. Especially if it's early on, because I'm not gonna make you choose between your friends and me, because I'll probably lose. So I'm just gonna end the relationship and be like, look, I wish you the best, but I don't like those girls at all, and I don't trust those girls, and I've told you my feelings on those girls. I don't like them being around, but they're your friends. I get it, and I'm the new guy, so I wish you the best, and I hope you find a more understanding guy, but I am not him, so I'm going to bounce and wish you the best. And that's what I would do. I would just bounce and be like, peace out. But yeah, it's just like when I hear this stuff, it's like, trust issues. You have trust issues. And just stop with that. I trust them, but I don't trust their friends. It's like, you have trust issues, and you need to address that. Especially if it's a relationship you want to save, you got to address those issues. But if you're not willing to address those issues, if you don't feel comfortable talking to your partner about those issues, your relationship's probably not going to last much longer. You got to get to a place where you can talk to your partner. I've said it multiple times, and it's always been said, communication is key to a good relationship. That doesn't mean you got to tell them every little thing, but you do got to share enough to where you guys feel comfortable around each other. If you don't have that comfort, then the relationship's pretty much over. But yeah, and that goes, since I'm on a relationship kick, there was something else about relationships that I brought up before where I still believe 100%. If you're single and you don't want to be single, it's your fault. And what I mean by that is it's your fault. There's not really much to explain on that. It's that online, especially females, especially women, where they want to blame everyone but themselves. It's like, you chose to go out with that guy. Did someone put a gun in your head and say, date this guy? If not, then that was your choice. It's like, every time that's brought up, these women flip out. They're like, what do you mean it's my choice? It's like, you chose to date this guy. And then they'll say, well, in the beginning of the relationship, there were this, and this. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there's no way every single guy starts off the same way and then ends the same way. It's not possible that you're doing that you're picking different guys and they're all ending up the same. You're actually dating the same guy. I've said this before. You're dating the same person over and over and over, just in a new package. You have a type, and it's not a very good type, and that's why you're always getting hurt. And guys are guilty of it too, where they have a type, and that type just keeps hurting them. It's like, you need to step back and look at what you're dating, because you're purposely choosing someone who you know is going to hurt you. And before you say, I don't know that, yes, you do. You just have to be honest with yourself. You got to stop lying to yourself. If you really are looking for that long-term relationship, first and foremost, you got to stop lying to yourself about the people you're dating. Because if you actually look at the people you're dating, you'll find that all the same signs were there for the most part. You'll find that, I would say probably 80 to 90% of the signs were there. They were exactly the same, and you just ignored them. Because so many times I hear about people who wind up in bad relationships. It's like, yeah, just keep going from relationship to relationship. Like, I saw one story where a person was on their 5th relationship in 2 years. Like, how the hell does that work? It's like, 5th relationship in 2 years? Like, what are you doing? It's like, slow down. Invest. Make sure there's someone you want to actually be with. And that's another thing. People are like speed relationships. Like, how many relationships can I have before the year's out? How about one? Just relax. Because if you, like I said, if you're really looking for that long-term relationship, one, you need to fix all the issues that you have. Well, I won't say all the issues, but you need to fix the major issues, you know. And you need to be honest with you and your red flags. And if you're the type of person who constantly cheats on someone, you're not going to find a long-term relationship. You need to just let that go. If you're not willing to fix the fact that you cheat all the time and not be like, well, they made me cheat. It's like, how did they make you cheat? Did they put a gun to your head? They threatened to take your kids from you? They threatened to hurt your family? How did they make you cheat? And it's like, they weren't emotionally there for me. Did you tell them that? And 9 times out of 10, no one spoke up. So, no, that's not a good enough excuse. So, yeah, if you're single and you've been looking for that long-term relationship, or if you're constantly going from relationship to relationship, sorry, my nose clogging up. And if you're constantly going from relationship to relationship, then you need to ask yourself why. There was a thing they used to say, you know, spend time with yourself, get to know yourself, and that's basically what you need to do. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to look at the type of person you're trying to be with and ask yourself, why are you being with that person? Is it just because they're attractive? Because it takes more than just being attractive for a relationship to work. You got to click. There's got to be something more than just looks. If there's not something more than just looks, your relationship's not going to last long. And also, if you're going for just looks, and you're someone who doesn't have the look or who's really out of shape, then you got to ask yourself, why would that person want to date you? You know, you want to date that person because that person takes care of themselves. So why would they want to date you? But then again, if you're into heavy people, you know, then that's not an issue. But so many times I'll see unfit people going after fit people, and a lot of times the fit people don't want anything to do with you. And then they get mad, and I'll see it more on the men's side where they get mad. I take that back. I see it evenly on both sides, because so many times I'll hear that say, yeah, it's usually on the men's side. The reality is, no, it's not. It's on both sides evenly. Because the men will get mad when women reject them and say they're gay and all this stuff. But women who are overweight who get rejected by guys will say it's because they're fat phobic and all this stuff. And like, no, you don't fit their preference. Is the reality. They don't want to date someone heavy. And that's perfectly well within their rights. They don't have to date you. No one has to date anyone. You can't force someone to date you. Because if you force someone to date you, it's over. And if they discover that you somehow tricked them into dating, which I've heard horror stories about, it's like, oh my God, you're a psychopath. Like I heard a story where this woman basically stalked her current husband in order to date him. Like she purposely would run into him. She did all this stuff. It was like some kind of Lifetime movie. I don't know how. Honestly, I don't 100% believe it, but I've heard of real stories where it made the news where that really happened. Come to find out the stalker was the husband. The stalker was the wife the whole time. And it's just like, this stuff really does happen in real life. That's why it's so easy to believe. The story where the mother-in-law was the stalker, and then the mother-in-law died, and the stalker went away. It's like, wait a minute. The stalker went away, and your mother died. And then there was a story that was a real story where the ex, what was it? The ex was being stalked, and then the new girlfriend was also being, the new girlfriend was being stalked. They thought it was the ex. The ex died, and they discovered that it was the current girlfriend was doing the stalking, and she had been stalking her boyfriend, and she killed the old girlfriend because she thought he was trying to get back with her. It was like, oh wow. So this stuff really happens. So there's crazy people out there. But back to if you're single, it's your fault. The number of times I've heard people, I'm not the first to say this. Well, for whatever reason, internet women, notice I said internet women, because real women can take it. They always say women won't take accountability. That's not 100% true. I know plenty of women who take accountability for their actions. The problem is the internet and the media makes you think women won't take accountability for their actions. Even in old TV from the 80s, 90s, probably even back further, they never had the woman taking accountability. That was the old stereotype. Women don't take accountability. Not true. That's just a TV thing. Lots of women take accountability for their actions. But the problem is, especially with social media, we see this large group of women who won't take accountability for their actions. So they represent women. It's like the internet only represents a small portion of humanity, in my opinion. Like, what you see is not all women. What you see is not all men. This is just a guess. Percentage-wise, I would say they represent single digits, maybe 5%, both sides. Men and women in the United States. There's a lot of people in the United States. So to say these people represent all women and all men is ridiculous. That's one of the reasons I hated that bear argument. Like, all men are potential predators. No, they're not. Stop saying that. That's so ridiculous. But as for the being single, like I said, I've seen where people tell the women, no, you chose to be with that guy. You chose to have a baby with that guy. You chose not to use protection with that guy. And in some cases, you knew that guy had 4 other babies with 3 other women. And you still chose to hook up with that guy. And so all guys are a-holes because of this one guy. And apparently there was a study shown that it's really just a handful of guys who are getting these girls pregnant. Like, I just saw a story, I forget who it was, but he found out his mama didn't know who his dad was, and he found out who his daddy was, and discovered he had like 40 siblings. His dad was getting it. You know, he was out there. I think he said his dad died in 98. He was 21 when he died. But, yeah, his dad was getting it. You know, he was out there working it. 40 kids. That means that guy was just going from girl to girl to girl. And, you know, unfortunately, there are guys out there like that, which proves it's not all the men. It's a select few. It's that, like I said, 5%. The women, and I honestly think it's the 5% women are hooking up with the 5% men, is what's really going on. And so they're screaming the loudest, so we're seeing that, thinking that's all men, that's all women. In reality, it's not. And that's why I said, because I'll see a lot of stories also where women will say they just need to not date for a while, spend some time with themselves. And it's like, okay. And it's just like, wow. But that also just made me think of something else, where I saw a post where a guy said, this girl had her hair up, and the guy said, you look better with your hair down. Here's the thing. If a woman had said that to her, would she have made it such a big deal out of it? And the answer is no, she wouldn't have. But instead, it all became down to him being misogynist, him trying to control her. And from what I gather, he said it one time and moved on. And this is why a lot of men don't talk to women at work. But also, on that same note, if it had been someone she was attracted to, she probably wouldn't have said anything, which is also true. We treat people different when we're attracted to them, and that's a fact. If she had been attracted to this guy, she wouldn't have said a thing. She wouldn't have made a TikTok or anything. And the fact that there were actually women in her comments talking about, I don't get it. And then say, that's the problem. You don't get. And then her response was just like, oh, you're one of them. You're one of them who just likes to, who thinks they're always right. You're a woman, hear me roar type thing where, you know, all men are evil and stuff. It's like, when I hear so-called straight women say that stuff, I do kind of wonder, it's like, if you hate men that much, why do you date them? So it's like, but yeah, and I showed my wife, and she sat there like, what? And, because I had to read it like several times, like, he said I look better with my hair down, so for now I'm going to wear it up. I just kept staring at this like, okay. That made no sense to me. Still doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, so if you want to be honest, he won. He actually won. Whether she wants to admit it or not, he won. You allowed that man to dictate how you are going to wear your hair. Because if it didn't bother you, you would still wear your hair however you want. But it did bother you, so he won. So I don't get it. My wife didn't get it. I don't get it. And there was a lot of people in the comments who didn't get it. It's like, he won. Because you allowed him to. Now I wish I could go back and find it and be like, comment on, like, you do know he won, right? They're like, you allowed him to dictate how you wear your hair. And it's like, because if you were truly not wanting him to control how you wore your hair, you wouldn't have made that comment. You would have just been like, whatever, and moved on with your life. Now, if he continuously kept doing it, then you need to go to HR and report his ass. But that was not the case. That's not what she described. She described he walked in passing, just said you look better with your hair down. And again, I've seen women do that to each other, and nothing happens. I would love to see that same energy for a woman when she says that to her. Like, if a woman says that to you, I want to see that same energy. And there won't be that same energy. I know in the last podcast I talked about there was a study done that women actually said they were sexually harassed more by women than men in the workplace, physically. Because women were more likely to walk up to each other and pat each other on the butt, touch each other on the breast, and it was just like, or just grab and touch and be touchy with each other. And the number of times I've had women like try to touch me, it's like, don't touch me. I've literally said it. It's like, don't touch me. And they're like, oh, what? I was like, don't touch me. So you want, like, if I walked over and just randomly touched you, and they get a little, it's like, you wouldn't like it. So don't touch me. I don't like being touched by random people. I don't like it. It's like, why do you feel so comfortable just walking up to me and start touching me and be like, hey, don't touch me? Because I've seen enough people in the bathroom, or heard some horror stories, even about you women, not wash your hands, don't touch me. So it's like, do not touch me, especially if you're of a certain health persuasion. I've heard the horror stories, but you guys not washing your hands. No, don't touch me. Do not touch me. Oh. But yeah, it's like, don't touch me. But yeah, and I was not shocked by that, because I remember seeing it myself, like women just smacking each other on the butt. And I remember seeing one girl, she was just, when the woman did, she was like, and she was so uncomfortable, she was like, why'd you touch me? And there are women who don't like to be touched, and other women just ignore it and touch them anyways. And honestly, I think women need to start reporting women more about that stuff, just because I guarantee it would stop. And it doesn't get reported enough. That's like, also I talked about, men not reporting abuse to them when it happens. But lately, more and more men are coming forward to talk about their abuse, report their abuse. And hopefully it keeps growing, that men now realize that they can report it and they can get help. I know what you're thinking. Well, the police will just laugh at them. Unfortunately, the police laugh at females. There have been a number of female victims who have been just not believed because they were fat or they weren't considered very attractive and all this stuff. It's like, that's not what determines a victim. Their looks is not what determines whether or not they're a victim. Why don't you just investigate the case and stop judging by looks? And then you have guys, oh, dude, she's hot. You're lucky. It's like the whole Anissa thing on Invincible. People were talking about, oh, I wish I was Mark. It's like, you're a sick, sick bastard. But that is a thing, though. There are people that are into that sort of thing, male and female, who want to be taken like that. And it's like, no. And it's like, I had the type of mind, I can understand it to the point where I know something's wrong with you. It's like, because everyone's tastes are different, but still, it's like, what made you get into that? And for some, it's the thrill of it, as crazy as it sounds. It's the thrill of just being taken. And in I would say all the way up till, from probably when movies and TV first came out, all the way up to even the 90s, that was the thing in movies and TV shows. The guy would just take the girl and she'd give into it, and they go off happily ever after. So, yeah, I can see why some girls might grow up thinking that that's the thing. And but also some girls, they want what I just described, but they want the actual violent act that gets reported to the police done to them. And some guys also want that done to them, and also both want it done to them, both want to do it to other people. And it's just like, okay, you know. Now, some of them will recognize that it's a bit extreme taste to have, and some won't recognize it, and there are actual dating websites for that. And at first, I thought it was a joke because saw it. I want to say I saw it on an old episode of CSI, and then later discovered no, there's really dating sites for that. There are really things for that. They're not like publicized, but you can find them, and you can go on these. You can register. You can set things up, and you can even set up a location and all this where you want it to happen. And it's almost like was it S&M, or is it just? It's actually just SM. I don't know why we say S&M, but you would even have safe words, and it's just like it's one of those things I did. I went down a rabbit hole. And it's just like, oh wow, there's a whole community behind it. They're quiet about it because they don't want people to know about it, because people are going to look at them as freaks. And just like the furry community for the longest was hidden, but it's more out there. But yeah, that's a real thing. So there's a community pretty much for everything sexual. Yeah, there is for everything. Some communities should definitely be shut down. Others, as long as there's two consenting adults. Notice I said adults. As long as there's two consenting adults, I don't see a problem with it. As long as no one's getting hurt. Well, some people want to get hurt, but that's another story. I'm going to end it here, but I thought it was going to be a short one, but okay, I'll take it. But don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to actually, with the like and subscribe, I need to do my book, or advertise my book. I'm going to try to advertise my book a little. I need to figure out how to do that. I was going to create an ad for it, never did. But, oh well. All right, take care. Later.